Thank you. Oh, man, why am I starting this with thank you? Welcome to Talking Wall podcast where we talk about anything and everything. Not really sure why I wanted to start it off with thank you or beginning to say thank you. I think it is probably the work mind brain going on. Today's gonna be tough. Let me get it out of the way, and something I've been wanting to kind of talk to somebody about a long time, but I haven't had a person to talk about it to in a way that they would be able to understand without having to explain seven different things, Um so we're just going to go off with it. I was in a failing relationship for a while, and I have a coworker who was in a failing relationship as well and is out of that. And I look back at his relationship because he asks me for advice. He was engaged for 3 years, engaged like within 6 months of him and his now ex-fiance being together. Um, he thought she was the one. He thought they were just fighting. She went and cheated. She went and just was not a nice person to him. And this man is the nicest man that I think I'll ever meet. And it's just heartbreaking seeing him tell me these things, or seeing him like struggle to tell me these things and be like, yeah, like it sucked, and like I was heartbroken for a little while, but in the end I realized that like that's not on me, like it wasn't. He understands that the relationship failing and her cheating on him and everything was not on him, that it wasn't his lack of trying in the relationship, or it wasn't X, Y, and Z, but it was rather her lack of respect for the relationship and her lack of respect for him. And hearing him say those things makes him sound so grown up, and it makes me realize that, like, maybe I'm not as grown up as I thought I was. Maybe I'm not as emotionally mature as I thought I was. And with all these, like, talks of relationships ending and people just struggling to, like, make a relationship work, it makes me realize that I want to be better. And I always used to say, oh, I want to be better, but I want to be better for them, or I want to be better for my parents, or I want to be better for all these things for a reason that wasn't me. And I've been realizing that I want to be better for me. And because I think that's kind of the best way to be better for yourself, like I sit here and I preach all these things, I say all these things, and I say that I want to get better, but at the end of the day, when I'm tired and exhausted, all I do is sit on my phone and doom scroll. I am no better than anybody else, and I want to be better. And I don't want to be better for an ex to prove them wrong. I don't want to be better for anyone that I'm going to be in a relationship with, or anyone that is friends with me or anything. Like, I want to be better for me and only me. And whether that's learning how to respect myself, or that's just taking better care of my body or my mental health and all these things. Like, I was driving home the other day from a 15-hour shift, and that 15-hour shift had me exhausted. I was tired, my feet were hurting, my back was hurting, like I was chafing like crazy because it's a hot kitchen. I'm sweating, like crevices get real slick, and jeans and socks and bras and shirts rub up against that and it hurts. And I was walking out to my car. I was the first one in the building, last one out of the building. And I was walking out to my car. And I just kind of stood there because it was 11 o'clock at night. It was pretty dark. The cicadas were going crazy. The frogs were croaking. Just crickets were chirping. Just everything going on all at once. And I just stood there in the middle of a road, staring at my car. And I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I feel like I have to go and the fuck? That was so weird. The computer just like restarted. But okay, we're just gonna roll with it. We're not even gonna edit the episode because I really don't feel like editing the episode, but the computer just crashed on me. That was so weird. But yeah. Um I'm surprised that it's still recording at this point. But yeah, I stood there and I was just staring at my car in the middle of a road. And I was like, why am I putting myself through this? I have no one to feel proud for me. Like I don't need to be impressing anyone. I do not need to be doing all of this to impress somebody or to make somebody feel like I'm hardworking or to prove myself to anybody. Like, why do I feel like I constantly need to be working so hard and then when I'm not working, I get this like terrifying anxiety that I'm not doing enough and that I don't respect myself because I'm sitting and doing nothing and I'm just a lazy asshole and a douchebag and a freeloader. Like, why do I feel that way? Why do I feel like I constantly have to be doing something to better myself? But at the end of the day, that crippling, terrifying feeling is not for me to be better for myself. That is just, it is an old version of me wanting to be better for a specific somebody or a specific occasion, not for myself. I am beginning to realize that you do need rest days. I'm not talking about the gym and like muscles or whatever. I'm talking about like with work and relationships and friendships and social things and just everything. Like you need a day off, or at least I need a day off. And it was for a while that I was working 6 days a week. I was working 60, 50, 60, 70 hour weeks. And I was hanging out with friends constantly, and it was just all these things stacked up on top of each other. And I just didn't really feel any of it. It was just a like going through the repetitive motions of opening one store, going and closing another, going and hanging out with friends and getting a pizza, or coming home and eating dinner and watching The Rookie. And it just all felt the same, and I hated it. And I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Ref, timeout. I need a timeout. And I'm beginning to realize that like having those timeouts are okay, and that's what's going to make me better. Having those timeouts to sit and relax and write down what the fuck I'm trying to accomplish with my life, or even in the week, or even in the day. Like, I think I'm just so aimless and so goalless in my life where I just don't know where I need to better myself, and I don't know how to go about it, because being in the failing relationship, being in a shitty job, just overcrowding my entire schedule, just overworking myself to the point where I'm just like content. And I don't want to feel content. If I had to live the rest of my life in just being content, I see no point in living. There is no point for me to plateau in my career, in my life, in my relationships, in my growth. Because when that happens, why would I want to continue to do that? Why would I want to continue to live in a plateauing society or plateauing mindset? Why should I not be wanting to be better? And that's kind of the mindset that I was in, but that mindset was completely fogged by just being content and just being, okay, today's Tuesday, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends after I work 10 hours. Like, like all those things building up just doesn't work. You need a timeout. You need to call the ref over. You need to tie your shoe. You need to sit on the bench for a minute and be like, okay, I'm ready to go back in. And I think that, for me, is what has made me realize that, like, I want to be better for myself. Like I said, I don't want to, I have no one to be proud of me. I have no one to impress. I don't need to be better than other people in those kinds of ways. I don't need to be working these crazy shifts to be like, oh my god, I hit XYZ amount of hours this week. What did you hit? Oh, I'm better than you. Because I hit those hours. The computer's doing the crash thing. This is making me really scared. Uh-oh. Oh, it looks like it's okay. Well, it keeps crashing and I don't really know why. I think the Wi-Fi keeps disconnecting. But yeah. Yeah. But just having that realization that like there's no one in the world that truly gives a fuck or is truly impressed by my 16-hour shifts or that is truly impressed at the fact that I can cook 6 different fucking dishes at once and I can plate 17 different plates in 2 minutes. Like there's nobody in the world that's like, dope. I'm impressed by you. You know, there's nobody that is in my life currently that is giving me that pressure. So, just taking that second, like I keep repeating, just taking that second to realize that I want to be better, not for her, not for him, not for my parents, but for me. So I don't plateau again, so I don't feel content with just everyday life. That I want to chase those dreams, that I want to hit those fucking mountains, that I want to teach others how to climb mountains because if I teach somebody else how to climb a mountain, I am climbing that mountain with them. That is what I want to achieve. And specifically what I want to achieve, I have no fucking idea. Do I want to continue my career in cooking? I have no fucking idea. Do I want to continue to go to college? I have no fucking idea. I am as aimless as a blind bat. But I know that I do not want to be in a constant state of just content. Because being content to me is just being rich and joyless, or fat and unhappy, or whatever. Like, there is no reason for me just to be content in my life. And I think that stems from a bad relationship with my mom and her bad relationship with regulating her emotions and her constantly having high highs and low lows. But I crave those low lows to scrape my understanding to why those low lows are happening. I crave those high highs because I want to feel on top of the world. But I do not crave those plateaus. Those plateaus, there is no reason for me, I feel like, to continue to plateau for the rest of my life. And I do not want that. Because if, like I said, if my life is going to be a constant contentness, then I do not want to live. I do not want to continue to just go about my life. Yes, I'm aimless. Yes, I'm goalless right now, but I want to achieve something and I want to continue to achieve things. I can't just be okay being mediocre. I can't just be okay being in a flailing relationship without feeling those things and trying to achieve those highs in a relationship. Or in a kitchen, I can't just be content putting out shitty food or food that's soggy, that your toast is over buttered or your pancakes are under syruped. To me, that is not okay. I want to feel those burns. I want to feel how hot it is in the kitchen. I want to continue to have that. I want to have calluses on my hands from the spatula from stirring grits for 45 minutes straight. I want to have those things in my life. But I also want to achieve, I also want to spend a 12-hour shift in the dish pit feeling like the quote-unquote lowest in the kitchen. I want to spend that time in or during that failing part of the relationship phase understanding why it's happening and feeling every single second of feeling like you're not good enough. And I think feeling those things and understanding those things and realizing that I feel those things, it's what's going to make me better. And better for me and not for somebody else. I think I'm going to end it there. I don't have any more notes. I started this podcast episode with 2 bullet points and a title. So, yeah. I keep saying this, but I hope to be posting more. My goal for the year is to post 40 podcast episodes, and I think I'm coming up on episode 20 of this year. So hopefully I'm going to continue to post more, because I kind of got to post more in order to hit that 40 this 40 posts. So, cuz considering there's less than, I don't know, 30 weeks in the year, I got to post nearly every week. So, yeah. If you liked the episode, if you hated it, please tell me. Honestly, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review, please. Please follow the podcast because it gets pushed out to more people. I'm sitting right at that 250 view per thing cusp, so that'd be great. Anyways, thank you for listening to the podcast, and I hope to see you next time.